up until a couple weeks ago in Strapi, if you wanted to write a post or a piece of content for your collection type in the Strapi admin panel, as soon as you click create, that post would be available to your API. And this is kind of a problem when you're wanting to write drafts. For instance, if you have an editor and you give them access to your Strapi admin panel and they write a draft post, and then you have another editor that's supposed to edit that post before publishing it. Well, you would need to create a draft and publish feature yourself in Strapi, which isn't that difficult, but it's extra work. And so one thing that the Strapi team did a couple weeks ago is they released a new draft and publish feature so that now you don't have to manually add that feature. It's just integrated right into the Strapi CMS. And what comes out of the box is this published and draft feature. So if we go to, I have this Strapi CMS running in my local environment, and you can see I have a few posts. This is from my personal portfolio website, and these are all published. And if I go ahead and create a query in my GraphQL endpoint for my posts and title and preview, you can see it's returning all of these posts. Another thing I can do is add a published at timestamp to the query as well. So it will tell me when those posts were published. And now to show you how this works, I can go in and create a new post. And let's call this draft post, and just give it a draft body and a draft description, draft everything, and a draft preview. And then if I just click save, it says here it's editing the draft version. So what does that mean? It means that it's only draft. So automatically when you go to create a post or a new content type, when you have this draft and publish feature enabled, it will say you're editing the draft version. And once you've clicked save, then you will have the option to publish the post. But let's go back to our playground and let's execute that query again. And if we look at all these posts, you can still see that post is not returned. And so that's great. So what automatically happens when that draft and publish feature is enabled, you are not serving your drafts to the public. But if I go ahead and publish this, the post will be available. So let's execute that query and scroll down, and you can see right here at the bottom in our draft post. So that's available, and you can see it's published at is returned. But if I unpublish it, I can remove it from the query just as easily. And so that's cool. But yeah, there's a lot of things you can do with the draft and publish feature. And just a couple are, you can only, for instance, if you're sending a webhook post request somewhere else, in my website, I'm using a webhook to post to Netlify and tell them, hey, rebuild my site because I've got some new content. And I only run that webhook when a post is published or unpublished or edited or deleted, versus when it's created. So you're not, that way you can kind of prohibit as many builds running when you're just creating draft content. Another thing you could do is you can query posts that aren't published yet. In your front end, if you're wanting to see posts, what they look like on the website, you can query based upon the published state. And you can still query those posts that are drafts and see them on the front end, but you can have a private endpoint so that only you and your team can see those posts that are drafts and what they look like on the website. There's more things you can do, but it's pretty exciting. I think the draft and publish feature is going to be really nice. You can see it's a lot easier just to click the button versus like having a toggle in your post. It's much more clear that, okay, it's not published. This is just a draft. And that's easier to know, okay, my site's not going to have this yet. It's definitely great. So thanks so much, Strapi,